The third and final debate is in the books, and this morning we are talking to NKU political science professor Ryan Salzman about the candidates, how they did. A lot to cover this morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Okay, we have got the third one in the books, and now we move forward with 19 days until the election. The big headline that stuck out to me this morning, and I'm sure a lot of viewers, Donald Trump refuses to say whether he'll accept election results. My question, why is this getting so much attention?
There's a major narrative right now that Donald Trump is bad for democracy. Of course, this is a narrative that the Hillary Clinton campaign is pushing. And making statements like, I won't concede if I lose, feeds right into that narrative. And it's even more fundamental, and I don't want to dismiss any of the allegations related to sexual assault, but that in many ways to a lot of people is very superficial. It doesn't relate to governing. But this kind of charge, this kind of statement by Donald Trump does relate to governing, and it gets to something so fundamental that many people will say, you're challenging the founding fathers. And I think that's why we're seeing that resonating so much.
And that being said, the Republican Party has come back and said, listen, we'll concede despite what Donald Trump is saying. Is that correct?
That is correct. Of course, Mike Pence even gave kind of a caveat that said, well, if he doesn't, if it's not, I don't want to say it's not rigged, but as long as it's done fairly, then they will concede. And so I think that that's about as close as you're going to get from the ticket right now.
I believe in nearly every debate, the conversation about Russia continues to come up. Bigger picture, why is this an important topic to our viewers and voters out there?
Well, those of us of a certain age, you know, even younger ones of us, like you and I, we still remember all the Cold War films about the Soviets being the bad guys, and I think that's still really resonant. And so there's something specific about Russia. It's not even the coordinating with a foreign power that challenges us, as much as I think it's about Russia, and that they are in many ways still emblematic for a lot of us of who the bad guy is. And so even just the basic idea that he would be in cahoots with the bad guy really, again, is very problematic. And that's why it keeps coming up. And it also keeps coming up because Donald Trump has many times said that he has some kind of nascent relationship with Putin. And then he comes on last night and says, oh, I've never met the guy, I don't know the guy. And so I think it's some of that more than it is Russia that keeps bringing it into the forefront for us.
Some of the words I read this morning, doomed, horrifying, they're being thrown around this morning after the debate. So how did it help or hurt each candidate? Yeah,
well, it was definitely rancorous. I mean, and this is something we all expected. But I think that Donald Trump was helped because he actually talked a lot about the issues. And I was actually pretty impressed by that early on in the debate, maybe that's a tribute to the moderator, to Chris Wallace, of the work that he did. But there was a lot of issue discussion, and I think that helps Trump. That's something that his supporters have said all along. Just stick to the issues. Talk about abortion, your positions on it. Let's talk about your foreign policy. Let's talk about your domestic policy, and these would be the good things. For Hillary Clinton, I think that what a lot of her supporters wanted to see is go back at him. If he's going to come at you nasty, I want you to go at him nasty. And she'd been laying back through the first couple debates. And I think that you saw, as much as you're going to get from Hillary Clinton, her going on the offensive and being really aggressive. And I think it played pretty well for her. So she seemed strong. She did what she needed to. Donald Trump was able to talk about the issues. And I think that's what both of them did and did pretty well.
Okay, Ryan Salzman will be with us after and during the election coming up next month. And we look forward to you walking us through that. Thanks for coming in again this morning. And we're still waiting on those viewer numbers. But you were telling me you expected them to be lower.
Probably lower, which is when we think about the long-term effect. Will it move the polls? Well, there's the conventional wisdom is it probably would have never moved the polls anyway. But if we're seeing half the number of viewers or even 70% of the number of viewers, that's just indicative of the fact that people are done. People have made their decision.
Okay, Ryan Salzman, NKU, thanks so much for coming on. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Okay, a live look at radar this morning. So